a 10-minute discussion, an overnight plan, and a last minute cab booking. This is exactly how this 3-day Mumbai trip came alive. There was but just one condition: I had to book somewhere in the area of Powai. Because I was visiting family who lived in that area, and I was accompanied by my friend who had booked into a retreat around 15 minutes from that area. Keeping in mind the heavy traffic, the Mumbai rains, it made all the sense in the world to stay within the area of Powai so that accessibility would not be the issue. It took a total of 4 hours to get to Mumbai city, after which getting to Powai was another 40 minutes, which we survived, and I couldn't wait to check out the Bloom Hotel located in Powai. The Bloom Hotel Powai is conveniently located next to some prominent companies and buildings. If you've heard of Crystal, it is right next to that. As we entered, I realized that they had heavily used the color yellow in their branding. The Bloom Hotel all over India uses yellow very heavily in their logo, in their interiors, and that's something that really stands out visually. Despite having a space limitation, the minute you enter the Bloom Hotel, one is almost charmed with how lovely the interiors have been designed. From the wallpaper to the carpets to the color of the walls, I have to appreciate the effort of the hotel. One thing that slightly put me off as a guest was the mannerism of the people at the reception. They definitely could be a little happier if only they tried. As we entered into the rooms, I was personally quite happy with the layout, the interiors, the space, the size of the TV, and overall the neatness. So I had no complaints, and I really couldn't wait to get some much needed rest. The view was actually quite nice, and the windows were decently soundproof, so we didn't really get a lot of traffic noise up into our rooms. So the next morning, I actually ended up getting up really early and heading to the breakfast area a lot earlier than the slotted time, which made me get a initial glimpse of the area before the crowd turned up. From a very quick glimpse, I quickly realized that this hotel primarily caters to the younger crew, to the youth, and I thought that a lot of their layouts and interiors and breakfast selection and choices were quite unique and cool and very selective, in fact. And Everything around the way the breakfast area was built, was structured, was quite trendy. So I got down to feasting after the breakfast buffet got arranged. If there's anything that I particularly liked about their breakfast, is the fact that they changed their menu almost every day, barring a few items, which was a constant. But I quite liked the fact that they were able to provide a variety to their guests, and there was a decent amount of choices for people who were vegetarians, non vegetarians. I did find a few of the items slightly stale. So, for example, their croissant and a donut that I had was slightly stale. But I do know that a lot of hotels actually don't make these items fresh every day. But I would have appreciated it had they at least checked up on how soggy and how some of them were soggy, some of them were too hard. So it would have been nice had they sort of kept a check on that. But apart from that, everything was quite nice, and I really enjoyed eating breakfast on all the days that I had stayed there. I also liked the fact that room service was basically bookable online. So if I had a problem and I wanted something, I could easily log on to their page, which already had my credentials, and I could request for a room service or a meal or a drink or anything. So that part was really nice. A lot of hotels don't have this yet. You'll have to pick up the call and speak to them personally, but this place ensured that everything could be dealt with an app or an online booking, and it was perhaps a 2 minute ride for them, a 2 minute walk for them to come attend to you. One final point which could tilt on the side of critique is that the walls are not completely soundproof. So if you are slightly edgy about noise and sound transferring from the next room or the room below or the room above, then you have a problem there, because I personally did get disturbed quite a lot, in fact, and it didn't really bother my friend who was with me because she was a sound sleeper, but it did bother me because I honestly was not interested in hearing what was happening in the room on my floor or above or below or whatever. I mean, I could barely hear the cars honking below, and Mumbai is a pretty busy place, but the hotel couldn't do much about the noise happening on the same floor or around me. So that was a problem there, which I'd like to highlight. But if that's not an issue for you, this would be a perfect budget hotel to book within the region of Chandiwali, Powai, and the neighboring places. So I personally had a good, relaxing, happy time here. I enjoyed the breakfast, I enjoyed the vibe, dealing with the people. It was quite nice. No problems on the hygiene, no problems on the things that were kept in the room, the facilities. Everything was nice, and I would strongly suggest booking here.